Hi, everybody. It's the Bison Media Zone postgame show presented by our friends over at Gate City Bank. It's Mike McFeely. I'm Zach State, and we got rid of Jeff Kolpak. He's doing something else here. Bison getting emphatic 52
What is he doing, by the way?
I don't know.
Is he selling books in the concourse or signing books?
He's
I don't know.
probably signing books more than anything.
Okay.
He's the celebrity of the bunch here. Bison getting emphatic 52-24 win over South Dakota, going to the postseason 10-1 on the year. This was about as complete a performance offensively I think that we've seen so far with the Bison this season.
Yeah, and we talked about in the press conference a little bit is historically NDSU at the end of seasons is trending upward.
Yep.
And this season it looks like it's no different with two dominating performances at Youngstown State and then today against South Dakota. It looks like they're going to possibly earn a 2 seed. I think they could get a 1 seed.
I think they should be.
But either way, NDSU is looking like they are trending in the right direction as the postseason starts.
The popular projections would be, of course, that Sam Houston would still be the number 1 seed. They're the defending national champs. They haven't done anything to lose that because they went undefeated. They went absolutely unchallenged all year for the most part.
Yes.
But NDSU at 10-1, their lone loss is at South Dakota State. They get a just massive win over South Dakota. I think they're the 2 seed.
Yeah, and I think so too. And part of that reason why is because since Cam Miller has been inserted as a starting quarterback, this offense is completely different.
Even against South Dakota State, when the offense wasn't great, he still looked better than what we saw in the beginnings of the year.
Quincy Patterson was 7-0 as a starting quarterback, so we can't deny that. But just the things that NDSU is able to do in the passing game now, the quick little shots out to the sideline that freed up Phoenix Sproles for a beautiful touchdown today. Cam Miller, his numbers today again were 70% plus completion, 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns. It's just the offense, the offensive line, the playmakers, the quarterback. It's all gelling at the right time.
Boy, we saw all the playmakers today, too. Tamarick Williams had a couple of scores. Christian Watson had a touchdown run.
Yes.
We saw Jalen Bussey get into the scoring column. Phoenix Sproles with a couple of touchdowns today. I mean, boy, the plethora of playmakers was on display.
Well, we've been hearing all season from the Bison coaches about how they have so many weapons that it's just like this, what's the cliche? It's a embarrassment of riches almost offensively.
Right now it is.
And we didn't really see that through the first 7 games. We saw a lot of Quincy Patterson in the run game. They never quite, other than some deep balls to Watson, never quite got things going. But the last 2 weeks, and especially today, you saw everything. You saw the tight ends get involved. You saw the wideouts get involved. You saw the running backs get involved. Cam Miller had a couple of nice runs. Quincy Patterson in a backup role had a long touchdown run that was called back on what I think was kind of a sympathy call from the officials because I don't know if there's much of a penalty there.
It wasn't even in the play
from
the replay.
But the point is that NDSU's offense now is doing things that we didn't see early in the season.
Correct.
They're doing it at the right time. And if things go well for them tomorrow, they're not going to have to leave this building until Frisco, Texas, as long as they keep winning.
I think the biggest upset today is that the defense gave up 24 points. However, one of them was a punt return, so you don't even give that to the defense. Another one was against the backups. And the other touchdown was an interception right through the hands of Dawson Weber that landed perfectly in the breadbasket of a running back. Otherwise, the defense looked about as staunch as you could get going into the postseason as well.
Let's give USD some credit. Offensively, they had the nice back. Nate Thomas, I thought, ran hard, big, strong kid. And Carson Camp is a good quarterback.
And he's hurt, too.
And he's playing hurt. But he had some escapability today that if he wasn't very mobile, he was going to get killed back there because USD's offensive line is what USD's offensive line has long been. But give some credit to the Yotes for being able to move the ball and score some points against NDSU's starting defense.
I think it should be fair, too. Destin Talbert got a pick, and he has had a really good season, both on special teams. He'll be back next year. He's set up as a really nice cornerback. So let's talk about it now. You said they think this should be the 2 seed. They said some of them will watch the selection show, some of them won't. The biggest thing for them is they get the week off. They can just they'll practice a little bit here and there, but they just get to rest. And that's something Matt Entz said they had to have that.
Yeah, and we knew that they're going to be a seed winner
no matter what.
Game. The point is that if you want to beat NDSU in the playoffs, one of the things you have to probably do is get them out of this building. And by getting a 1 or 2 seed, and they're not going to be the 1 for the reason that you explained, but by getting a 2 seed, they're going to guarantee that they would not have to go on the road for a potential semifinal to James Madison, to Montana State. If they were to get the 2 seed, they're not going to now. They're going to be in this building if they get the 2 seed, and that is huge because nobody in FCS football wants to come into the Fargodome for the semifinals when it's going to be 18,700 people going nuts and wanting to punch their tickets to Frisco, Texas.
Only one team has ever come into the Fargodome during the postseason and beaten
James
NDSU.
Madison.
Be James
If
Madison.
James Madison gets the 3 seed, it would set up the semifinals in Fargo if both teams continue to win between JMU and NDSU in James Madison's last go-around in FCS football, there might be some fun had on that Friday or Saturday of that semifinal if it happens.
I was at the radio station when JMU beat them in Harrisonburg, so there's a little connection there.
There's
some nostalgia there.
Are you a JMU homer, by the way?
I am not. I went to Bridgewater College.
Okay.
Logan Campbell over there is a JMU homer.
That's right, Logan's a JMU. Yeah, that's right.
Before we go, I got to say this real quickly, too. We talked about Cam Miller. I think it's incredibly strange for an offense to go from a 7-0 starter to another quarterback and the offense get better. It's remarkable the turnaround. I think turnaround may be the wrong word, but how much different the offense looks with Cam Miller.
I think that's the key. Is NDSU is good enough to get by with what they were able to do with Quincy and just keep running him. That was not going to last physically for Quincy, running him 15 to 20 times a game.
I mean, we saw him today. He got hit really hard.
He got hammered today.
Got slow to get up.
Yes, and Cam Miller, with the experience in the spring and the experience now in the fall, he only has 6 starts under his belt, but he looks like an incredibly experienced quarterback.
Yeah.
And again, for the playoffs, it's important to have him as a youngster in this building because he's just going to continue to get better and better. Cam Miller looks good right now.
He looks in rhythm.
At the start of this season, we talked about the quarterbacks in the Valley.
Yeah.
And all the transfers and who's going to be the top quarterbacks. Right now, Cam Miller is playing as good as anybody in the Missouri Valley Football Conference at quarterback at just the right time.
And I think I told you this too. A lot of people focused on Quincy Patterson and Cole Payton with the quarterback rooms at NDSU in the preseason. A lot of people might not have thought about Cam Miller as much. He has forced people to think about him now. And you think he's going to play with a little chip on his shoulder too. He still takes all the blame for that Sam Houston loss back in May. You think he wants to get the demon off his shoulder?
He looks very confident. I mean, Cam Miller looks very confident. He looks more relaxed than he did in the spring. And they just look just more like an NDSU team. Last spring was a crap show. Can I say that on the air? Or a stronger word than that?
Sure.
This fall, they look like NDSU again, and Cam Miller's a part of that.
500 total yards of offense today, and that is really not doing it justice here for what the Bison did to South Dakota. Mike, always a pleasure to chat with you, sir. We'll see what happens with Jeff Kolpak later. Actually, you can look for him with
the best post-game show ever, by the way.
Absolutely. It's Bracketology.
Certainly the smartest.
Bracketology a little later here on Inforum.com with Dom Izzo and Jeff Kolpak.
Certainly the less BS being floating around, right?
Probably so.
All right, good.
Probably so. For Mike McFeely, I'm Zach Staten. That's our Bison post-game show presented by Gate City Bank.